talk show that addresses the state of affairs on Nevis. Expect great conversations, different perspectives, and an all-inclusive approach to moving Nevis forward. Tune in. It's time for us to speak up.
Good evening to those under the sound of my voice. Today is another Thursday, and we are here at the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse. My name is Jaedee Caines, and in the studio with me is Rohan, and we are here each and every Thursday night for Speak Up, a social commentary talk show where we seek to educate you, inform you, and keep you up to date generally about matters of national interest. I'll go over and say good evening to Rohan.
Good evening, Jaedee. It's good to be back at One Radio for another edition of Speak Up. As you say, we continue to press and push our people into the direction where the information is, hoping that they will make best use of that information. As usual, let me take the opportunity to send birthday greetings to those who are celebrating this week or will celebrate in the few days coming. I want to take the opportunity to say a special good evening to my cousin Grayson Elliott, who is celebrating birthday today, and to say to those who are celebrating anniversaries or any other special occasions, on the occasion, congratulations and all the best to you. As per usual, we take time also to extend our condolences to those who are mourning and those who are having a difficult time. Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
All right, perfect. And I too want to join in here and just say deepest condolences to all who are mourning, particularly the Wallace family at this time, as they mourn the passing of someone we know as Rafi Wallace, Hugh Raphael Wallace of Government Road, Hamilton. Rafi is, well, to be honest, I call him Uncle Rafi.
Yeah.
Uncle Rafi is someone was someone who was much loved on the island of Nevis and throughout the region, actually, and he will definitely be missed. I know that the family is in mourning right now, and I just hope that they will find comfort in fond memories of the great Hugh Rafi Wallace. So condolences to all. Rohan, we have a packed show. For those who may not be aware, we are on 860 AM, 93.7 FM. We are also on Facebook. We are on YouTube. And so sometimes when you see me kind of playing around with my phone, especially at the start of the show, is because I'm working hard to share the link to persons who prefer to view via social media. So this is something for you to know that if you are ever unable to log on to or to turn on your radios, you can catch us on social media, Facebook and YouTube, and we are on Von Radio social media pages, as well as you can find it on the Nevis Reformation Party's page, and I also share it on my personal Facebook page. So anywhere you want to follow us, you can do so. Rohan, a lot has been happening. A lot has been happening. In fact, on Monday night, the Nevis Reformation Party would have launched a brand new show, Your Voice, with the NRP.
Yep.
We spoke about it last week, Thursday, letting people know that they should tune in. What were your thoughts?
Well, it was a good, well, it was an extremely proud moment as a member of the NRP, as a candidate, to see the political leader and the deputy political leader at Von Radio. I know
Yes.
there has been many calls and questions as to why we are not on Von Radio, and it was a proud moment that, you know, I felt good about it, and I felt even better listening to the political leaders of our party explain our position, explain the reason why we have launched Your Voice.
Yes.
As the promo said, we are taking the opportunity to amplify the voice of the residents here in Nevis and to share their views. And of course, it's a call-in program, so we invite you on Monday to get close to your radios and your telephones, and, you know, have your questions and your concerns or your comments or your suggestions close by. And so, yeah, we're becoming more and more accessible. We're definitely showing the what you would say, the newness of this NRP.
Yes, and we are showing that we are in touch with our people, Rohan.
Yeah.
Because, people have to understand that you have to go and meet the people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
In some instances, that's exactly what you have to do. And so we understand that there are some Nevisians and Kittitians as well, who would rather tune into a particular radio station, and so we tap in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some who would rather tune into another radio station, and so we tap in there as well. We are trying to reach you wherever we can. There are persons who stay at home, they're not on social media, they're not into all of that stuff, and so we meet them where we can. There are some who are very much into social media, and we meet them there as well. Wherever it is, we are trying to meet you, and that is what this Nevis Reformation Party is all about, being accessible to our people. We want to hear from you. We don't just want to tell you about the great plans that we have. We want to hear from you. So for those of you who would have missed Monday night's show, you can go back on social media and visit the NRP's Facebook page as well as Von Radio's YouTube or Facebook pages, and you can get that show. As Rohan mentioned, we had our party's leader in the Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. I almost said honorable, but perhaps I'm speaking it into existence. And the Honorable Cleone Stapleton Simmons really doing an excellent job in terms of speaking about what has happened and what their plans are. I was particularly impressed with the Honorable Cleone Stapleton Simmons' recap of the work that she's done in the constituency of Nevis 5 St. Thomas, considering that, yes, she's elected, but she is not in office. She's not a member of the Nevis Island administration. And she has been able to do so much, even in opposition. I knew of her work, but to hear her just give a rundown of it all in one place at one time, I was impressed. To me, Cleone singly has outperformed the entire government of Nevis. It is crazy.
Yeah, she I've had conversations with people who, may have some doubts, and I said, listen, my friend and colleague is working in Nevis 5. I can guarantee you she's working in Nevis 5. And so, as you said, it was refreshing, and it was heartfelt to hear her recall, the many things that she has done and will continue to do in Nevis 5 for the people of Nevis 5. And so, that is part and parcel of why we have sought to access the wide-ranging accessibility and reach of Von Radio. You said that we have, it's not just our supporters and people who may not support us, or people who may not know where they want to put their support, and we want to reach them as well. And what I think this platform is going to do for the NRP, because all of us as candidates, we have that particular common denominator that is, we listen.
Yes.
Our mantra has been, we are about listening to our constituents, understanding what their positions are, what their frustrations are, what their concerns are, and we get an opportunity to come back and to speak about those things, and so people can relate to what we are saying, and not a case where we are just hearing but we are not listening. And so I think this is an important platform and a great opportunity. I know for me, particularly in the Nevis Street area, quite a bit, if not almost all the people in Nevis Street listen to Von Radio. And so, I get twice the opportunity, but it's great. It demonstrates the shift that the party has embraced in terms of finding, as you would have said, the opportunity, the possibility of reaching people exactly where they are. Yes,
and so two persons were in studio from the NRP on that night in terms of candidates, who were Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge and the Honorable Cleone Stapleton Simmons. And two of us were able to call in. Rohan, you weren't able to call in. You were a bit under the weather,
unfortunately,
that night. And I know some persons were like, well, where is Rohan? Where is Rohan? Yes, Rohan was under the weather, but we are happy to have him here this evening in good spirits. But Rohan, Dr. Patricia Bartlett has opened up a can of worms worms, Rohan.
Well, the duck is in a row, man.
And it started on Monday night. She opened up a can of worms when she called in to the program, just to give a synopsis and, briefly talk about some of the things that she's observed and some of the things that she's been doing. She sort of opened the can of worms. It's like she was trying to open it, but she didn't quite get it open yet. But then on Tuesday night, she came back on the radio. Man, and she opened the can of worms. And I am told that it has created quite a stir, quite a buzz on the island of Nevis.
Sure, has. I think, she kind of pried it open on Monday, It wasn't her time, she got asked a little bit about what was going on in her area, but you could feel the angst. She really wanted to get into it, and I think on Tuesday, when she had the opportunity, she went there with the can already open. Then she just waited, and when the beat was hard, she really went in, and clearly it rattled.
Yes,
it rattled that individual, and I was listening. I didn't listen live, and I went back to listen, and I found that particular area of the discourse, and I was like, boy, the duck really under the skin.
And then she made a social media post that says accounting is an exercise in math, so things must add up. It is not an English exercise to play with words. Well, it's definitely interesting. I just want to encourage everyone to tune into Your Voice with the NRP every Monday evening, right here on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse from 8:30 to 10 p.m. We have 90 minutes, and for those who may not know, it's an opportunity for us to hear from you and for you to hear from us. So you can call in and just share your thoughts, ask us questions. That's perfectly fine. We just ask that you be respectful and you use the platform to get your views out in a respectful manner and respect Von Radio's guidelines in terms of just having that mutual respect for persons, whether persons who are on the show or just generally in the community. Well, Rohan, that's
before you move on, just so that we will let the public know Dr. Bartlett is on Monday.
Oh yes.
Expect some more fireworks on Monday.
Yes, so guys, that for those of you who just tuned in, you're listening to Speak Up, and we were talking about Your Voice with the NRP, which is a new show that made its debut Monday last here on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse, and we are expecting to have that show being featured every Monday from 8:30 to 10 p.m. going forward. Now, Rohan, who is lobbying for the island of Nevis is the question that I want to just throw out there this evening, for you, for myself, for persons who are tuned in, for persons who they observe what's going on but they don't really comment too much, or they don't think about it too much. Who is really lobbying for the island of Nevis? And you may be wondering, well, where is Jaedee going with this? Where is Jaedee going with this? Well, it's a lot of things that would have prompted me to ask this question: who is lobbying for the people of Nevis? So let's take the more recent one. So Carnival. St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival will be happening this year, the 50th anniversary, and I am told, because I like these kind of things, Carnival runs from November 13th, so that means it has started to January 3rd, but the official opening will be on December 3rd. And yes, Carnival is scaled down this year. However, there are a number of activities that they have on the lineup. And what I found particularly interesting was the announcement last evening, I think it was, during the COVID-19 press briefing, that Carnival would have submitted a proposal to the task force, and it has been granted, and you can have 75% occupancy at events. And I think that is so great. I love Carnival, and so I am excited about that. But it made me ask the question, well, what happened to Nevis? Doesn't Nevis have any activities that it wants to host? Doesn't Nevis have its own festival? I know Carnival is St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival, so it belongs to both islands. But specifically on the island of Nevis, we have what we call the Caribbean's greatest summer line, Culturama. And this year we were unable to host Culturama during the regular period, and so we had Indirama. We had Culturama during Independence. And fine, I enjoyed the virtual activities. But I mean, come on, you can't expect the division in me to not feel a little bit jealous now that Carnival is able to operate at 75% capacity, and we here in Nevis weren't able to physically be at any of the events. Rohan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, good question. Who's lobbying for Nevis? When I saw it, I asked myself some questions. What is different now than what you said in the in September, and it's a fair question to ask who is lobbying first, because we could have had, if not 75%, I think there were enough people vaccinated, because I see it is for fully vaccinated people as well. We could have granted fully vaccinated persons access to some of those events, the same way that we are seeing that happen in for Carnival. But I mean, it's a good question to ask. I look forward to an answer, Jaedee, because I really don't have an answer for the question who is lobbying for Nevis. And if I can't tell you who is lobbying for Nevis, then
well, I can tell you, perhaps you can't say who is lobbying for Nevis, but I can tell you who is not lobbying for the island of Nevis. And who is not lobbying for the island of Nevis are three persons whom we would have elected and sent to St. Christopher to handle the affairs of the people of Nevis. Listen, don't kid yourself. Not because at this point in time, and I say at this point in time, I like to say it. Yes, I'm an NRP at heart, but I say it this way because I tell people all the time, this is my island, and so if at any given point I feel like the NRP is not does not align with the principles that I have, then I won't be supporting the NRP. But for as long as I can recall, the NRP has been aligned with the principles that I am about. So the NRP has my support. However, even though I am a strong supporter of the Nevis Reformation Party, I am a Nevisian, and so when I am not going to let anybody go to St. Kitts from Nevis and get no quote unquote knocked out, I am one of those people who I am looking out for my own. And so even though we may sit on different sides of the table where politics is concerned, when they go to St. Kitts, I want them to do well. I want them to represent us well, because they are and I can accept that the people would have elected them, and so they are there to represent us. My issue is, what are you doing on our behalf? I mean, why did I dirty my finger? What am I getting? What is the people of Nevis getting? And people may think it's about Carnival. Yes, I would have brought up Carnival, but it's bigger than Carnival. What are we getting as divisions, Rohan?
271 million.
But the maths is not adding up according to...
I'm just saying that was laid out for us in quite some detail. But you're right. I mean, and I agree with the point that when these gentlemen go across the St. Kitts, they're representing, or should be looking to represent, the best interest of Nevis, and that is why they're there. But Jaedee, you look at it, and it's a conversation that is going to lead us into constitutional reform and how we set up the political and the constitutional arrangement between St. Kitts and Nevis. Because what a lot of us need to understand is that when these individuals go to St. Kitts to represent, unfortunately, they're working for the people of St. Kitts, and that is how it is aligned right now. That is how it is set up. There is no federal Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture in St. Kitts is the Ministry of Agriculture in St. Kitts, and the ministry, I mean, I think the Honourable Premier might be the only one who gets that ability to represent across the board, because he's the foreign affairs minister. And so, as I said, that takes us into a conversation about constitutional reform and how do we set up this government that allows St. Kitts to have its own so to speak, just like Nevis, and then there is a higher governing body, whether you want to call it a federal government, which with real understanding of what the federal government does, then yeah. But we were told all 3-4 weeks strengthen the hand. But what I've recognized is that we have strengthened the hand, and now there is no feet to stand on.
We've strengthened hands to put into pockets. Rohan, I am not sugarcoating anything. And speaking of who is lobbying for us on the island of Nevis, I can go a little bit further. Perhaps it's not just on the island of Nevis, but generally, who is lobbying for us? We would have learned yesterday again that there would be no curfew effective
5:01.
Yes.
Today?
And so no more curfew is in place, at least at this time, for St. Kitts and Nevis. Conveniently, coincidentally, whatever term we want to use, on the heels of Carnival. Conveniently or coincidentally on the heels of Carnival.
There are a lot of, and if people go back and think to themselves, a lot of changes have been made that aligns with events that are going to happen in St. Kitts.
Yes, CPL.
Yeah.
CPL.
There's always something.
Listen, I don't know. Maybe we should borrow Jonel for a little bit. You see, because it looks like what Jonel wants done gets done. What Jonel wants done gets done. I heard he has some vision roots. So he better.
I think some roots in Brownhill or something like that.
Maybe we could do a swap. Jonel, come. We can send you one. I could send you three. I could send you three. Oh my goodness, that's a light moment, but it's true, Rohan. It's very true. And I'm not against any activity for Carnival. As a matter of fact, let me say this, at this point in time, I don't understand why we have some of the restrictions that we have.
I don't either.
For example, we say let us release the curfew. We've released the curfew. But then we still have all these restrictions in place.
Number 7 in your SNRO says no mass gatherings. So, it's crazy though. I know for a fact divisions are going to enjoy whatever events they can for Carnival. That has always been that kindred spirit between Kittitians and divisions who continue to support each other's festivals. But I found it interesting though that you're having events for Carnival at 75% capacity for fully vaccinated persons. Of course, we have had that long discussion of the vax versus the unvax and creating a new class, but that will sort itself out, I guess. How do you then now tell private entertainers that they can't have functions at 75% capacity for fully vaccinated individuals?
You're walking up my alley, Rohan. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I just found that interesting.
What do the bar operators have to say? What do the restaurants and the nightclubs have to say? Let's go down on Pinny's Beach. What are they saying there? What are they saying? Because
you're right.
These people, a lot of them, they make their money at evenings. They make their money when there's a big gathering. What is it for we? What are we doing? Rohan, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not praying for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have more businesses closing their doors because some persons are barely functioning, barely operating, Rohan.
Yeah, I don't believe a lot of us understand the connection between entertainment and some of the other businesses around. Let us take an event that is going to have 200 people. So the promoter now has to find drinks to accommodate 200 people over a 6-hour period. Have to find food vendors are going to come. They're going to have to find the same measure. And when you talk food, you're talking food and prep and cutlery and utensils and all those things. You're talking extra labor and so on.
Yes.
You have to go find raw materials to prepare your food. So the supermarkets are going to benefit. The breweries are going to benefit. The bus drivers are going to benefit. The
rental companies.
Oh Lord, listen. I have found this amazing, Let's stick a pin and go back to my story. It is very difficult to rent a car these days.
Listen.
I guess that is a good sign. But all of these other small businesses around are going to benefit from the entertainment industry being active.
Yeah, the ripple effect.
Yes, and you're going to find a little bit more money for Christmas and so on. I mean, we are hopeful that the SRNO that will hit us in December will have some changes and will allow for people. It's been a long 2 years.
Rohan, you're forgetting to mention that with these new SRNOs and with the fact that we can operate in Carnival at 75% capacity, children are still going to school on a shift system in St. Kitts and Nevis. Make it make sense, Rohan.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. I mean, this is preposterous to me.
I have asked, I said, well, we have the National Task Force, or the NEOC, or whatever they call themselves. I'd ask if education has their own task force kind of thing going on. I'm just really trying to understand.
What
I
is
know
happening?
the Prime Minister said we're open for business.
Is there anything in Dubai?
In Dubai, and we now have no curfew, which is of no consequence really, because you're still telling people, listen, you can go out until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but there is no entertainment. So why are you going out 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, girl? Just drive around, St. Kitts and Nevis.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who would have tuned in late, you're listening to Speak Up with Jaedee Caines and Rohan Isles. We are here every Thursday night on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse from 6:30 to 7 p.m. And we want to encourage you to also tune in to Your Voice with the NRP, which airs on Monday evenings from 8:30 to 10. It made its debut this past Monday. And Rohan and I have been speaking most recently about our representation. Who is representing us? Who is standing up for us on the island of Nevis? Because we've realized that over on St. Kitts, it seems as if there's one set of things happening and then a different set on Nevis. But Rohan, I think the general thing is that there is no consistency. There is no consistency. And I'm having a hard time understanding the direction in which we are going as it relates to this whole COVID-19 environment. Yes, we can say that it's unpredictable, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Are we going to continue to operate this way? What is the plan?
There's not much unpredictability about it now. I mean, going on 2 years, the world is now saying, listen, I think we've got this thing figured out. This is how we are going to deal with it. This is how we deal with it. We are going to reopen the world, and so that people can get back. Listen, whether you want to call it a new normal or old normal or some kind of normal, that our existence have some level of normalcy. And as you said, there must be some consistency, because the rules and regulations are written for St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
And so I don't understand why it is, and I've said it here and I'll say it again. It seems as if the rules and regulations are written to suit major events that are happening on the island of St. Kitts. I mean, no disrespect, but that is just how it has been. And if there's somebody who can prove different to me, then I'd like to see. I didn't see any special or any regulation come out to suit
Nevis.
Carnival in the first instance. I didn't see any come out.
Okay.
Not Carnival, Culturama.
Okay.
And I didn't see any come out for Indie
Rama
either. I'm just saying that every time, and 2022 we'll open with a bang, because the Under-19 Cricket World Cup is coming to St. Kitts.
Yes, oh my goodness, Rohan, oh my goodness. Before we leave, how could I forget to mention that one? So, it's because I have it in my phone. Guys, before we go quickly, I want to mention that the Under-19 Cricket World Cup is supposed to be coming to the Caribbean, and St. Kitts and Nevis is listed as a country that will host some of the games. And with Nevis producing as many test cricketers as it has, not even a practice game is listed to be played on the island of Nevis. In fact, I see that the games will be played at the Warner Park Cricket Stadium, and to go even further, there will be a game. Connery is in the do, and even Sandy Point has a warm-up match, but nothing for the island of Nevis, nothing for El Camino, nothing at the park in town. I mean, it's a disgrace. Rohan, your final words.
Well, we want to thank our listeners for continuing to join us on the Eastern Caribbean Powerhouse One Radio for Speak Up. Cricket has put Nevis on the map, and yet there is nothing more.
Nothing more.
Nothing more. Nothing more. But, as they say, change is on its way.
Change is on its way. Change must come.
Change must come.
Change must come. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Speak Up. I want to, in my closing remarks, just encourage you to support the activities of the Nevis Reformation Party. We have various fundraising events, and if you have not yet done so, follow us on our social media pages to stay up to date and abreast with what's happening. I also want to wish our students best wishes on their end of term examinations.
Yep.
And again, condolences to the entire Wallace family and to all others who mourn at this time. This has been Speak Up with Jaedee Caines and Rohan Isles. See you next week.
Join Jaedee Caines and Rohan Isles this and every Thursday on the Caribbean's powerhouse, Von Radio, for Speak Up, a social commentary talk show. Join Jaedee Caines and Rohan Isles this and every Thursday on the Caribbean's powerhouse, Von Radio, for Speak Up, a social commentary talk show.